We all have artists we love, who we obsessively listen to and consider to be our all-time favourite band. An album or a song of theirs might be the soundtrack to our lives, comfort us when we're sad or make us happy and dance around the kitchen every time we hear it. But as time goes on, other songs come into our lives and our lives themselves change and are no longer recognisable to the self we knew before. And when that artist who you love, who meant so much to you, releases a new album, it just might not have the same magic. Not because it's bad. Many artists' later works can be profoundly moving, skillful, mature, but just because it doesn't speak to you in the same way. And time goes on and you just think, what happened to them? I don't think they've released anything recently. And you check, and lo and behold, there's 3, 4, 5 albums that you didn't even notice come out. A couple of things have got me thinking recently. The first is Nick Durden's excellent new book, Exit Stage Left, The Curious Afterlife of Pop Stars. The second is Matt Koval's aka Creator Dynamics video titled How Long Do Creators Last?, which my friend and mentor Rick Beato brought up in his video titled Nothing Lasts Forever. Nick's book is based on interviews with musicians about what happens when the lights go out. Some stop completely and retrain in new professions. Dennis Seaton, who had a worldwide monster hit at a young age with Pass the Dutchie, now runs training courses to teach people to use ladders and cherry pickers safely. Others continue to make a living on the nostalgia circuit or live off royalties from their big hits. Others continue to make new work, even though hardly anyone's listening anymore. It's a great read, and Nick is an insightful, amusing writer who injects the right amount of bite into the interviews, especially where the artist he's interviewing reveals hints of their still remaining ego. The usual music business stories abound: struggles with drugs, alcohol, mental health, being dropped by a label who'd moved on, a single that failed to match the success of the previous one, marking the beginning of the end, bankruptcy, the demands to follow up a successful album with another and another and another and another, without the necessary time given to replenish the creative juices. There are also several instances of, and then the accountant stole all their money. The usual self-inflicted stories are in there. Shaun Ryder of Happy Mondays imploded his career by being spectacularly hedonistic, spending hundreds of thousands of the label's money, recording in Barbados, liberally indulging in his vices, and bankrupting the label by delivering a mess of an album. Some artists recognise that there's a limited shelf life to both your creativity and your time in the limelight. Billy Joel, who sold hundreds of millions of records, still enjoys touring and playing his hits, but stopped recording new music in 1993 after his album River of Dreams because he no longer felt like he had anything new to say and was at peace with that. David Gray's album White Ladder was the 5th best-selling album of the 2000s in the UK, selling 2.9 million copies, spending 176 weeks in the UK charts, and it was one of those albums that was absolutely everywhere, that everyone seemed to like. I remember the lead single, Babylon, being on every single time you turned on the radio. It was Gray's 4th album. A last roll of the dice. He poured his heart and soul and every ounce of creativity he had into it. And he was rewarded with a massive hit. But with a huge hit comes enormous pressure. And not being a naturally outgoing person, he found it very hard to deal with. And in the meantime, another singer-songwriter by the name of James Blunt came along, appealing to the same audience and selling hundreds of thousands of records. David tried to stay relevant, writing what he considered his magnum opus, a double album of songs he considered his finest. But when critical reception was muted, he really felt the pain and withdrew from the limelight. But he still creates, still makes music, because he still feels that compulsion. It's who he is. I highly recommend the book. The story that really got me was the interview with Suzanne Vega. And disclaimer, I am a huge Suzanne Vega fan. It was after watching her and her support act Narina Paolo at a gig in my hometown of Salisbury in 2005 that I went home and wrote my first original song. Suzanne Vega looked for a record deal for 11 years before signing to a major, and she never compromised her look or style to do so. Her second album, Solitude Standing, has sold over 5 million copies worldwide to date. She sold out Carnegie Hall for 2 nights and became the first female artist to headline Glastonbury Festival in 1989. The world seemed like hers for the taking. For her third album, her manager put together her most ambitious run of dates yet. Larger venues, a crew, catering, a backup singer. She was ready. But when she looked out into the audience, it was only a third full. And it continued that way for the rest of the tour, which ended up being cut short from 2 years to just a few months. And in the meantime, new generations of competition came along, artists like Sinead O'Connor and Tracy Chapman, followed by another new generation, Fiona Apple, Alanis Morissette. The label became disappointed in her and cut back on its support. But she's still an artist, she's still creating, releasing her latest album in 2016 and continues to tour this year and next. In the book, she says, I still care about appealing to an audience, but only up to a point now. And beyond that, I don't care. And that's where Matt Koval's video comes in. Matt worked as a creator before he was hired by YouTube as a content strategist and their first ever creator liaison. He's now making videos over on Creator Dynamics and his own channel, Matt Koval. Matt's video shows that the typical life cycle for a creator is 5 to 7 years, and that's for creators who've made it. Much like musicians, fame is fleeting, formats get stale, and new creators are appearing all the time. The truth is, we don't know yet what a long-term creator career looks like. Is it better to burn out than fade away? I've been writing songs since I was 15. I've been making videos seriously since around 2017. I went full-time in 2019. I truly feel like I've only just started, and I have so much more to give and improve on. I just want to make the best content and write the best songs I can. I know that only time will tell how long this will last, but I can assure you that I am truly grateful and humbled that you are here on this journey with me. So thank you so much for your support you have shown me as a creator and musician. It's an honor to get to do this, and yeah, I'll never take it for granted. So thank you for watching this to the end. If you do like what I do, then please subscribe. You can also sign up to my newsletter and tell me where you are in the world so I can book a live show near you. Check out the link in the description. It's free. Then if you're feeling super generous, consider supporting me over on my Patreon page. That's how I support this channel. But as always, I'll be seeing you very, very soon.